Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, doing some quick late night technical analysis for the commodities space, looking at the weekly uptrend for the dollar. We've been grinding the 12-period exponential moving average support and continually closing above it for months at this point. And we can say that anything above 96.75 keeps the weekly uptrend intact. The bulls are trying to form just another higher low to keep this weekly uptrend. If we were to break 96.75, it would be very notable, but until then, we're looking for the bulls to shift momentum and hold this level. We can see short-term support of 97.15, and for the bulls to change the daily trend, we have to hold 97.15, which is essentially a double bottom, 97.15 and 13, but the bulls have to break this little double top of 97.70 and 97.74. If we break 97.74, we essentially hold support, break the lower high pattern, and that would be the indication that our weekly higher low has been established. Things are getting very tight. If we do see the bear break, that's going to be obviously bullish for gold. But if we keep this weekly uptrend, gold bulls are still in a little bit of trouble. That being said, gold did change the daily trend, but with a lack of follow through. When we see a lack of follow through on a trend change, we zoom out and look for the potential of a bear flag or a flag in whatever direction it is. So because the daily trend changed for the bulls with no follow through, and mostly due to market weakness, not due to the dollar weakness, which is an important distinction to make, but if we see a lack of follow through over this 1288 level, we have to be cautious of a weekly bear flag for gold. At this point, the gold bulls do have a bunch of space to work with. We have a higher low every day now for 6 days in a row, and anything above 1266 does keep the daily higher low intact. So bulls can form a daily higher low and then get follow through, but we are not getting follow through right now, which means the bulls have to err on the side of caution, because the kind of scenario that the bulls want to see is a break and a move over 1300 for a convincing break, which we obviously do not have at this point. I would say that if the dollar loses the weekly uptrend, we'll see gold over 1300 pretty easily. If the dollar keeps the weekly uptrend and changes that daily momentum back in their favor, I'd say gold is probably heading back down into the middle of this range. The bull miners are not holding on well, which is a bit surprising, and it might be a bit of a clue. The fact that the market overall, aside from the last week, the market has been strong and near all-time highs, but we can see these miners here. This is the weekly time frame. We had the bear break and nothing but bear follow through. The daily chart is just a clear lower high, lower low pattern, and 2014 is GDX short-term support. GDXJ also down at its low, 2804 about to be tested. So possibility of continuing downtrends. And if we do see these bear breaks, that is, again, notable as to a lack of confidence in the gold bulls, essentially. So keeping an eye on it, because this is a scenario where if we don't get a lot of follow through for the bears, it might be a falling wedge pattern. So we're going to get a lot of short-term action this week on gold and these miners, in my opinion, because we do have the dollar with a weekly inside bar forming, and we do have some tightening ranges out there. But it's going to be a little bit, I need more convincing is essentially what I need for bulls to prove to me on gold, and certainly they have not done so on these miners, but to prove that momentum in their favor, keeping in mind that we are still watching the long-term monthly time frames, and the question is, has gold formed its monthly high or low? And we don't have enough information yet, but that would be best case scenario, because that would favor the bulls on this multiple year monthly equilibrium if the higher low is at 1266. But we need more proof from these bulls. At this point, the potential is for a bottom fishing play below 1266 support if looking bullish, perhaps scaling in the 1270s, put a stop below 1266, and hope that that's the monthly high or low. But personally, I'm waiting for the monthly break before I play these commodities. So all these breaks on the short-term daily time frames, all that's going to do for me is shift as to what's the most likely monthly scenario. But for me personally, just very clearly, I've already outlined to myself, I'm not trading this space until we get monthly breaks. I have MJ sector to trade, crypto now to trade, so plenty of other things going on, and this is a pattern that I'm keeping an eye on the back burner for activity in the second half of 2019, probably Q4 2019 is when gold is going to open up from that tightening monthly equilibrium. Oil on the weekly time frame also looking for a higher low. Plenty of space for the bulls to form it. 54.50 is the level that has to hold, but we don't have any indication that the weekly higher low is established yet. Pretty much choppy, red, green, red, green, red, green, back and forth the last 6 days in a row. Bulls have to see a clear break of 62.46 and 62.91 for a bull break. If we break 62.91, which is the top of the bounce at this point over the last 7 days, that would be convincing for me that our weekly higher low has formed, and then we would be looking back up at the recent high. But if we cannot break that resistance level, we're still in weekly consolidation mode, and we're looking down at the low of support, 60.02. So just like I anticipate oil to see a break in range early this week, and for some volatility to pick up, certainly more than we saw last week on oil. Natural gas, also a potential weekly bear flag. Again, the daily trend changed, and we don't have a ton of convincing follow-through yet. That being said, the bulls are still in control. If we can break, and when I say in control, I mean on this daily pattern. If we can break 265, that will be convincing to me with follow-through. But if this is as far as we get and we start fading back down to the mid-250s, then we have to be cautious of a weekly bear flag on this weak bounce because of the lack of follow-through on that trend change. So both natural gas and gold are doing the same thing as far as the daily chart goes, with a lack of follow-through, and probably due to the lack of dollar weakness. Have to see a break of 96.75 for the gold bulls, natural gas bulls, oil bulls to all see some benefit from that. Let's not lose sight that the dollar is, aside from its previous 2 weeks of consolidation, it's the strongest that it's been in over a year. So keeping an eye on the dollar as a gauge for the entire commodity space, and unless we see weakness, we're going to be looking at the dollar bulls remaining in full control. So natural gas, bulls must hold 249 to keep the daily higher low pattern intact. And that's where we stand overall. Looking for oil volatility, probably Monday, Tuesday. And I'm going to be looking for gold to either prove to us or not in the first couple days this coming week. Is that a daily trend change with follow through? Or do we have to be cautious due to the lack of follow through? Same with natural gas, same scenario as gold on the daily time frame. So hope you're well. Hope you had a good week. We'll get back to regularly scheduled videos here. A little bit jet lagged, but getting ready to get back into it and start the week off on a good note. Hope you're well. Happy Mother's Day out there, and we'll see you soon. Low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low, low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low, low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low, low, high, higher, low, lower, high. Sorry, I just blacked out.